Hey, Brent Haynes with Woodsound Flutes. Going to talk to you about the Woodsound Classics today. Included in that is the Woodsound Student Flute. You know, when I first introduced the Woodsound Student Flute, I wasn't all that excited about it. Back then, the Woodsound Student Flute was made out of apple wood and just a variety of different trim woods. You know, the mouthpiece and the totem here. And I was just using cut-offs of different woods that we had in the shop at the time. And it just didn't excite me. The student flute back then just didn't really get me going. I just wasn't all that excited about it. You know, but now I am fired up about the student flute. I am just thrilled about it. And I got to tell you why. Here's the reason. Now we're making the student flute out of all poplar wood. This flute is made out of 100% poplar wood. So here's the poplar wood, and the mouthpiece and the totem are made out of cambia. Cambia? What's cambia? Well, cambia is actually a wood that was invented by a guy who was a fireman. Now, this fireman, he actually originally found that when wood was exposed to really high temperatures in fires, and also was exposed to these high temperatures when there was no oxygen around, or when the fire had eaten up all the oxygen and the temperatures were still hot, that the wood turned really dark brown, and it was still really solid, and it was still really good, and it was great for woodworking. And so what he started doing was he started taking large batches of wood and baking it in low oxygen environments, and he called this wood cambia. And so that's what this wood is it's cambia, and this particular cambia is actually poplar. And I know that it's silly, but that just fires me up. That we have poplar cambia and poplar wood, and that makes up the student flute. Just gets me excited. I love it. To me, that changed everything. That made this flute just an incredible flute. And I know it's a silly thing, but those kinds of things to me just are really exciting, and I love them. And it changed the student flute from being just a, kind of a whatever flute, to being something I was really proud of. And not only that wasn't the only change we made, but this other change really helped me be proud of it too. And that was, we decided that we just had to put finish on the mouthpiece of the student flute. And the reason is that the finish is really an important part of what we do with wood sounds. The finish provides a layer of protection for our flute players. It protects the flute player from allergic reaction to the woods. The woods, all woods have in them things that the trees grow in them, lignans and things like this. And the trees, they grow in them natural protections from insect infestations and from bacteria and fungal infestations and things like this. Trees have, they're really smart, and they protect themselves from other invasions of other species. And so the woods have those things in them. You may know that if you put a cedar log in the ground, it'll last for a long time. Well, the reason for that is because of the things that are in the cedar to protect it from rotting. Well, that kind of stuff is not necessarily good for us to ingest. And so when we provide a layer of protection with our acrylic finish, then it protects us from as a flute player, it protects us from anything that is in the wood. And so that's why we decided we have to put the finish on the mouthpiece. Even though it does put a little bit more time in the creation of the flute, we just had to do it. From a quality point of view, we just had to do it. So additionally, we also put the finish on the inside of the flute in the first chamber to protect the wood, to help the flute from any cracking and things like that. So this is a student flute. It's a flute that I'm very proud of now and excited about. And these are available for you in high C, mid A, and mid G. The high C's are 175, the mid A is 185, and the mid G is 195. And they sound pretty good. So great sounding flute, fabulous student flutes, and these are available now up on the website in the student flute section. So that is the student flute. Now, if you are looking to record or perform, or you want to step up your game a little bit, then you want to move up to the Cedar Classic. And this is a fully finished flute, and it has apple wood for the trim pieces, and it is all Eastern red cedar, and again fully finished on the internally in the first chamber, and it is a great sounding flute. This is in the key of mid A. They're available from high D, high C, mid A, mid G, mid F sharp, low E, low D, and low C. The prices, this is a very exciting part for me, because price-wise, the prices are only $255 for the high D and the high C. They're $265 for the mid A. For the mid G and the mid F sharp, you're looking at $275. For the low E, it's $285, and for the low D and the low C, it's $295. So for less than $300, you can get a Woodsounds flute in a low C. And I got to tell you, I am so excited about that. To be able to get a low C flute for less than $300, it's awesome. This is just so exciting. I'm very excited about it. And again, these are available right now up on the website in the Woodsounds Classics section, and you can see those now. And this flute, again, is a mid A. So just a great sounding flute, great focus, great acoustics, and super instrument. You know, people like Robert Mirabal have won Grammys with that instrument. Totemic Flute Chant was a lot of the songs were recorded on that instrument, and so it is a really high quality world-class instrument. The next flute I want to share with you is the Taos Pueblo Old Style, or the Taos Old Style flute, and this was originally created for Robert Mirabal for a TV miniseries that he was doing, and he needed a movie prop, and so he called me up and says, "Hey Brent, can you make me a flute that looks like one of the old Taos Indian flutes?" And I said, "I guess, have you got any pictures?" And so he sent me up a bunch of pictures of these old flutes, and they were just looked like these old sticks, and I was like, "Yeah, I think I can create an old stick, Robert." and it was so fun. I had so much fun making this flute for him, and we actually made it originally out of a piece of cottonwood. And And so anyways, I made this flute for him, and it looked like just this. It looked just like this old stick and big mouthpiece on the end, and just this little totem, and put these bands on it, because it looked like it had been held together. These old flutes look like they'd been held together by pitch gum and things, because it's what they'd been held together by, and sent it down to him, and it worked great for his movie, and he loved it. And the great thing about it was, even though it looked like this old or it looked like this old flute, acoustically there was nothing old about it. It is a modern instrument from the inside. It is awesome acoustically, and same with these flutes. Internally, these flutes are modern instruments and acoustic monsters. They are awesome acoustically. So if we'll start with the mouthpiece. If you look at the mouthpiece, once again, we need to have that barrier between us and the wood, because we don't want to have allergic reactions to the woods. We want to protect ourselves against that. So I put a little layer of finish on the mouthpiece, and internally there's finish so that it protects the wood from moisture, and all that's there to provide that layers of protection. And there's also finish on the inside of the tube to provide an acoustic advantage, and so this instrument acoustically is just incredible. This again is a low C. So gorgeous, gorgeous sounding instruments. Love them. Now price-wise, they start at $310. They go up as high as $380. Great sounding instruments, great prices, and these are available, of course, on the website. And I love them. I love the juxtaposition of this old with the new. I just think that is a fabulous, fabulous look. The next flute I'll share with you, of course, is the Cherry Classic. The Cherry Classic, for me, is a fun instrument because it started off with a tree that I harvested that had been planted by one of the pioneers of the city that I live in. And he actually was one of the grandpas of a good friend of mine. And so this particular piece of wood actually is from that tree. Now, not all of the cherry that goes into the Cherry Classic, unfortunately, will be able to come from that tree because we'll run out of it. But some of it will come from that tree. And quite a bit of it for the next little while anyways will come from that tree because it was a pretty big tree. And I love it. I love this cherry wood. It's really beautiful. And it makes great flutes. It's just a wonderful flute wood. And it's lovely sounding. It's lovely looking. We designed the cherry wood with a couple of things in mind. We wanted it to be a real performance instrument that had a beautiful look, that was easy to get on and off stage, so it slipped in and out of the flute bag easily. That's why we have a nice low profile totem. It has some nice beautiful flash to it, so it has this nice beautiful turquoise and these beautiful rings on it. It has a redwood burl on it. So it has this beautiful eye-catching look to it. So from stage or from the audience, it's going to really catch and have visual appeal to it. And then it's going to be able to get off and on stage, and so for busking and things, it's going to work really, really well. And that's why we designed it the way we did. And I think that we really hit a home run with this Cherry Classic. I think it's just really a perfect design for a performance instrument. Acoustically, visually, everything about it I think is a huge win. And this again is a low E. Gorgeous, gorgeous sounding flute. Again, visually, this is going to have the pizzazz from the audience. They're going to, what is that? That is gorgeous. And it's got the ability to get on and off stage quick and easy. And, if it gets knocked over accidentally, it's not got things that are going to break and things that way. So this is designed, again, as a performance instrument and priced so that it's going to really hit the pocket nicely. This starts at $370 for a high D and high C. It's $380 for a mid A, $390 for a mid G and a mid F sharp. It's $410 for a low E, the one I have in my hand, and it's $430 for a low C and a low D. And that is the Cherry Classic. Now, the next flute is one of my favorites because it's a flute that we designed specifically for the Woodsounds Classics. Many of the other classics are actually flutes that we've been making all the way along, and that we just decided that we'd focus them in as classics. Like the Cherry Classic, this is a design that I've made many times, and as a custom flute, I've made this flute or something like this many times, and then focusing it in as a Cherry Classic was a pretty natural thing to do. But the rustic, this flute design never existed before until we created it as the Woodsounds rustic flute. And the very first time it was ever created was as the Woodsounds Rustic in the Woodsounds Classic. And I love it. It actually is something that I'm very much in love with. Now this flute, let me tell you what it's all about. There was a young man who was in love with a gal, and but this gal, she just didn't even know who he was, and so he didn't know how to get her attention. He was just despondent about it, didn't know what to do, and so he worried about it, and he went and hung out underneath this old ash tree that he'd go hang out underneath. He was leaned up against this ash tree, and a woodpecker came along, and this woodpecker started pecking on some branches, and as it was pecking on some branches, the wind came up, and as the wind came up, it started blowing, and it blew in the trees, and it started, came some noise out of the tree. And the kid looked around, and he's like, where's that sound coming from? And the woodpecker pecked some more holes in this branch, and as it did, some more noise came out of the branch. And then woodpecker pecked some more holes, and some more noise came out. And every time a woodpecker pecked a new hole in, a new sound came out of that branch. And you know, pretty soon, the young man, he reached up and he broke that branch off, and he just broke it right off, and he took it down and he looked at it and he thought, And he took it and he said, And he put it to his lips and he started blowing on it. He said, wow, that's pretty neat. And so he started playing around with it. And he started goofing around with this a little bit, and pretty soon he found himself a little tune. He said, wow, that's really beautiful. I like that. I like that a lot. And he started thinking, he thought, you know, maybe if I took that tune and played that while my gal is working, maybe I could kind of entice her a little bit and get her attention. And so he went and he hid in this cave while she was working down by the reeds. And here she came along, and she started washing the clothes, and he started playing. There she comes, and he took off her running because he was afraid she was going to catch him. And well, you know, it took a few days before he stopped running and he let her catch him. But finally he did, and she just loved it. She thought it was awesome. She loved the music, and she loved the flute, and that got them actually talking. And isn't that just the way it is? That once people actually start talking, they find out that they have an awful lot in common, and a lot of things work out. And that's the way it was with this young couple. And the flute was the impetus to get them actually talking. And so that's what this flute represents, is the first flute. And so we actually have a little woodpecker on it, and it has the natural end on it, and it has this beautiful finish on it that I just love so much. It looks like this rough carved flute, but again, it is a modern instrument inside and out. It has a finish on the mouthpiece on it, again, to protect you from any allergic reactions. It's finished on the inside chamber, and so this instrument has this gorgeous sound to it. And they're available in high D, high C, mid A, mid G, mid F sharp, low E, low D, and low C. Now they start at $400 for the high C and high D, $410 for the mid A, $420 for the mid G and mid F sharp, $440 for the low E, and $460 for the low D and low C. And this is a flute, again, that I just think is fantastic, just a gorgeous, gorgeous instrument, and I hope you all love it as much as I do. Just a beautiful little instrument that can be a lot of fun. Now, if you are looking for a very high performance instrument, and really the highest performance instrument, I think, in the Woodsounds Classics, then this is the instrument that you're looking for, and it is the Grenadiers Classic. The Grenadiers Classic is made out of the hardest of the woods in the Woodsounds Classics, and it is trimmed with ebony, box elder burl. It has our shoulder design on it, has the Tree of Life design on it. Again, it is the hardest wood that we have in the Woodsounds Classics. It has a beautiful ring to the voice, and in terms of a performance, high performance instrument, this is a high performance grade instrument. And so if that's what you're looking for, is a real high performance grade instrument, this is that high performance grade instrument. And so if what you're looking for is just pure high performance grade instruments, you don't care about anything else but just high performance grade, then this is that creature. Visually, this is a look to me that I find absolutely stunning. I think this is a stunning work of art. I love it. And this is, again, our Grenadiers Classic. And it is available in high D, high C, mid A, mid G, mid low E, low D, and low C. Price-wise, they start at 620 for the high D and high C. Mid A is 630. The mid G and mid F sharp is 640. The low E is 660, and the low C and low D is 680. So incredible prices on a real high performance grade instrument. Let me go ahead and play this for you. And this particular one is actually a mid G, and just spectacular instrument, absolutely spectacular. Anyways, this particular flute actually sold. I'll be shipping it today. So fabulous, fabulous flute. So the next flute that I get to share with you is our Myrtle Classic. The Myrtle Classic, in my mind, is the perfect blend of art and performance. So when you're looking for a high performance instrument with high blend of art, that is where you come to the Myrtle Classic. When you're looking for something that is just gorgeous and plays incredibly well, Myrtle Classic. These instruments are just amazing. So compared to the Grenadiers Classic, the Myrtle Classic is a little warmer. The Grenadiers Classic is a little bit more focused, and I'll give you that example. So incredible sounding instruments, absolutely amazing. These are acoustic monsters, just fabulous acoustic instruments. Warmer than the Grenadiers a little bit. The Grenadiers is a little bit brighter, and but acoustically, volume-wise, and things like that, they're both right there in the same category, acoustically, volume and things that way. This is $620 for the high D and high C. It's $630 for the mid A. So it's $640 for the mid G and mid F sharp, and $660 for the low E, and $680 $80 for the low C and low D. Then the last flute that I get to share with you today is the double flute made out of walnut burl, myrtle burl, cherry, and turquoise. And these are just so much fun. It's so easy to get lost in a double flute. This is something that I just highly, highly recommend for you. And what's so exciting to me is that we've been able to bring the double flute price down below $1,000. It's just amazing to me. Actually brought the double flute down below $900 for the mid G. This is only $890. The high C is $850. The mid A is $870, and the low E is $930. And this flute is a mid G, and it is just wonderful. The mid G double classic. Wonderful flutes. I hope you enjoyed these Woodsounds Classics as much as I do. Again, you can reach me at 801-822-1415. I'm Brent Haynes. Email address is brent@woodsounds.com. And I look forward to talking to you soon.